We have so much music in the folders that the stands can't hold them up.
Just trying to help you out things like with the this one.
And I had told them that if they didn't play the last measure the way it's supposed to be, that we could play it again. And we have actually done that on concerts. There are some people in here tonight that were in bands that did that. We went ta 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 again, ta 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 until the audience was just cracking up on the floor. And I watched it. Our next piece of music is entitled Avalon, Long Live the King. And this is an original composition by a gentleman. Oh, by the way, turn the lights out. He did his student teaching here about 5 years ago. And a lot of the music that we play, we call it rah-rah music, we play at football games and such. He arranged it with especially for this band to play. And some of the friends of the band commissioned him, asked him to write a piece of music dedicated to the Avalon Middle School Band. So he wrote this one, and it's called Avalon. His name is, by the way, is Tyler Arcari, and he's a high school band director, I believe, in Smith Station, Alabama, and doing an absolutely wonderful job. He's also a published composer. He's got several pieces out that he has written, and I have bought several of them that we have played in the band. And he gave this one to us. It's called Avalon, Long Live the King. And no, I'm not going to put the crown on.
I know you. Come on, Ricky.
Okay. Housekeeping. You need D and an A, right? Okay. Let me D, please. All right. Thank you very much. And our next piece of music are selections from a movie that was popular just a short while ago, How to Train Your Dragon.
You can hold on to it, yeah.
play music. Absolutely. Lost all my information. Here. Okay, our next selection is has an interesting story behind it. It's a musical description of a historical event. It took place in the late 18th century on the Mississippi River. The fierce competition among the steamboat companies to provide the fastest service on the Mississippi River, especially between New Orleans and what's that city up the river? St. Louis. And the two biggest, baddest, fastest boats on the river finally had to settle the argument which one was fastest. And the race was between the Robert E. Lee and the Natchez. And if you're familiar with the song "Waiting on Robert E. Lee," that's what the Natchez had to do. They had to wait for him. And now what's significant to these kids about this piece of music is when we go to New Orleans this weekend, Friday afternoon, we're going to be playing this piece of music about the Natchez and the Robert E. Lee, and right behind us will be the Natchez. Not the same one. It's named the Natchez, and after we finish playing, we're going to enjoy a dinner cruise on the Mississippi River while riding up and down on the riverboat Natchez. This is called Great Steamboat Race. It's by Robert W. Smith, who actually has a house in Hollywood Park. And they weren't ready to stop just yet. Next piece of music we played at District Festival in March, and we made straight superiors and top ratings in all the captions. And this is a circus march by a well-known composer named Carl L. King. And I've always liked his story because when he was 14 years old, he ran away from home to join the circus band and wound up being a famous composer of circus music. This is called Rough Riders March. And this is a part of our program that I always look forward to every year when we hand out some awards. And of course, the thing that really I wish we could give awards to every single kid in this band that deserves them. We wouldn't be able to carry them home. These are just a fantastic bunch of kids. They have worked. They've done everything I've asked them to do, and then some this year. So I'd like to think that the people we are recognizing represent all the great workers in this band. People of all the kids. Hasn't been any one or two kids or any even half a dozen. It's been about 72 of them that have made it all happen. And so these kids represent all the rest of their friends. The plaque may have their name, but it's for everybody. And the first one, this is harder than it looks. Outstanding woodwind, symphonic band, Summer Lloyds.
Hey!
Get two more. And outstanding brass player, this one, the woodwind, the woodwind selection was not easy, and this one certainly was not easy either, because there's so many kids that deserve, all these kids deserve something like this. Outstanding brass player, Symphonic Band, Megan Mallett.
Thank you.
He also gets the award for clumsiness. How many kids in the band are surprised that happened?
Especially for us.
And outstanding percussionist, Symphonic Band, the chewer of gum. He needs some gum. Okay. And I always like to give out leadership awards. I probably should have given about half a dozen of these, and it was hard to narrow it down to one person. And so often, leadership is really a difficult concept for middle school kids because sometimes they get thinking it means telling people what to do, but that's not how we see it. Leadership, true leadership, is showing people what to do. And this young gentleman has done that all year long. He came up here this afternoon and wanted to know if there's anything he could help with. And he was the first one here, and this is not the first time he's done this. He's one of the first people in the room every day, and he doesn't come in to hang around and socialize. He comes in to see what he can help with. And so the leadership award goes to Justin Lyle. And this final award, before we go ahead and finish up our program, is the Director's Award for Outstanding Musical Accomplishment. And once again, I went round and round on this. Which ones should I give this to? And finally settled upon, as I had to, settled upon one person, the Director's Award for Outstanding Musical Accomplishment, because he has pushed me to my limit to show him, to give him good music, and appreciate his efforts in playing music way beyond anything I would expect him to be interested in, much less be able to do. Director's Award for Outstanding Musical Accomplishment goes to Brandon Burke. Recognize the kids on the stage that were in the all-county band. Stand up, please. We're in the all-county band. They were selected from, through an audition process that involved about 350 middle school kids from all over the county, and we're very proud of their accomplishments. Now all the kids that played in solo and ensemble, stand up. And about 90% of them made superiors on the solos, and the rest of them made excellent. Very high scores all the way around. And we have a former band member from a good many years ago who has been collecting donations to provide a scholarship or scholarships for members of our band to go to band camps this summer. And if you would like to make a contribution to that, the more we get, the more kids that we can send. I believe right now we have, with the stuff we already have and the funds that Lewis was able to raise, we have enough to probably send 3 or 4 to a nice music camp over at FSU.